DANDADAN Season 1, Episode 3 Review. Anime's coolest grandma joins the fun. Once upon a time, there lived a UFO-obsessed boy and a girl who believed in ghosts. After a dare leads to a night of deadly encounters, the duo not only finds proof of the existence of spirits and aliens but also awakens mysterious powers. Ken Takakura and Momo Iase form an unlikely friendship when they save each other from paranormal curses and alien abductors. This is how DANDADAN began, and how it will continue from here on out. For now, the anime has taken a breather, but as the stakes pile up and the characters reel from their hilariously bad decisions, even a momentary pause raises their anxiety. DANDADAN Season 1, Episode 3, It's a Granny vs. Granny Clash, is up to no good. As Turbo Granny's curse gets out of hand, the need to defeat this genitalia-stealing malignant spirit hangs like a dark cloud over Momo and Akarin. It has been an action-packed ride since the series premiere, and this episode is no different. From fighting ghosts to the kids picking on one another, showrunner Fuga Yamashiro keeps churning out the manga's story in animated form with panache. DANDADAN Episode 3 feels like the calm before the storm as the characters prepare for a deadly battle ahead, which looks more and more daunting for the high schoolers who still have no idea about the kind of world they have stepped into. DANDADAN Episode 3 makes exposition engaging for once. The episode unpacks the past as well as emotions. DANDADAN Episode 3 throws a new character into the ring, and it is none other than Momo's spirit medium grandmother, Seiko Iase. The opening scene sets Granny Seiko up in the worst light possible, as she makes one wrong psychic reading after another on live TV, of all places. The joke is probably on the audience, as Seiko's introduction subverts their expectations of an old and seasoned spirit medium. However, as it turns out, there is more to Seiko than meets the eye. The first act conveniently finds Momo and Akarin out of commission, thus setting up a grand clash between the two grannies away from all distractions. Short and explosive, the duel ends with Turbo Granny losing to Granny Seiko on the latter's home turf. But this is only the beginning of everyone's troubles. This episode has only one fight scene, and with it done, the rest of it goes into a slump. Slowly, the story unravels bits and pieces of information about the yokai haunting Akarin, ominously named the Turbo Granny. The deeper the conversations go, the more unsettling the lore becomes, but the character interactions themselves are so fun that they seldom let the episode take a dark turn. DANDADAN did the impossible. It made an exposition dump engaging and entertaining. Granny Seiko's introduction also brings a different kind of dynamic between the characters, since there is now someone to challenge Momo's temperament on an equal footing. Granny Seiko is also the first adult authority figure that the two teenage characters answer to, altering their chemistry yet again. It leads to some comic outbursts between the trio of Momo, Akarin, and Granny Seiko, as well as some candid moments that no one had on their bingo cards. Although the episode's pace falls off after the first 5 minutes, these characters hold the whole thing together with their colorful vibes that fit each other like a jigsaw puzzle. However, nothing good lasts forever. As Turbo Granny's curse grows out of bounds, it threatens to complicate matters for Momo. The vengeful spirit challenges her to come to her haunted tunnel before Momo can propose it herself, turning the tide in the old ghost's favor. While things never looked bright for the kids, Momo had held out hope that a surprise attack with her newly discovered hidden powers would do the trick. Now that she and Akarin have lost that advantage and put Granny Seiko's life in danger in the process, DANDADAN ups the ante once more. Even without any high-octane climax, the episode puts the audience through an emotional ride into the unknown, with the unlikeliest of friends becoming the likeliest of allies. DANDADAN Episode 3's character interactions are just as fun as the action. The episode and anime are shaken up by Seiko Iase's arrival. Supporting casts in any story help the lead characters find their heroic path, and Granny Seiko is no different. When Momo and Akarin were at their wits' end, Granny Seiko swooped in to save the day. In doing so, she inadvertently became the hero of the episode. Seiko is full of surprises. She looks youthful despite her age and has an uncouth mouth for someone who has religious responsibilities. Her competent aura brings a steadiness to the episode's pace, letting the story take a breather from all the non-stop action. As a result, DANDADAN Episode 3 uses its downtime to indulge in some heavy-handed exposition regarding Akarin and Momo's precarious situation through Granny Seiko. Not only does Granny Seiko become the parental figure in the group, she's also the most experienced in dealing with curses as a spirit medium. She's simultaneously the group's secret weapon and source of information. Most importantly, she's a fun and unpredictable character. Thus far, DANDADAN gave the Iase family a lot of attention, first with Momo and now with her relationship with her grandmother. Since awakening her psychic powers, Momo has learned a lot about the hidden world of ghosts and spirits, which was something she used to scoff at when she was a child. DANDADAN Episode 3 gives its main grandmother-granddaughter duo a sense of closure and embarks them on a new journey together. Granny Seiko teaches Momo the basics of the spirit world, as the teen teaches her grandmother the extent of her new powers. Before long, the episode passes by too quickly before the audience can bask in more hilarious interactions between the two. It is incredible to see DANDADAN maintaining its solid character development amidst some of this season's most intense action and hijinks. And the anime has only had 3 episodes thus far. Did an old hag just call another old hag a scummy old hag? Seiko Ayase, while Ocarina does not have much to do in the episode, his voice actor, Natsuki Haney, playfully reminds everyone that he is still in the background, hoping to escape his curse sooner rather than later. It's evident that Haney had fun providing comic relief alongside Momo's voice actor, Cheyenne Wakayama, with the two engaging in endless banter that gives the anime its cute flavor. Meanwhile, Nana Mizuki voices Seiko Ayase with an air of aplomb that comes off as arrogance. From haughty laughter to indifferent scoffs, Mizuki manages to pin down her character's nuances in the span of a single episode. And that is certainly a commendable act. Dandadan Episode 3's animation boasts an unnatural tranquility. Science Sorrow focuses on the episode's atmosphere over spectacle. Dandadan's animation bursts with life, even if Episode 3 slows things down a bit and deliberately avoids repeating the previous episode's spectacle. From the characters' exaggerated movements to the scary visuals of an abandoned tunnel in the mountains, the smooth transitions and dramatic angles give Dandadan Episode 3 its wacky vibe. The best example of the animation's mastery happens in the opening minutes, when the two grannies duke it out in the middle of a serene country road. Alongside the wild special effects, Science Sorrow's animators not only had to keep the background intact, but also play with the character art to show them in their fighting stances. An immense amount of detailed work is visible in every frame of the grandmother's fight and beyond, and it's this artistic achievement that makes Dandadan truly one of a kind. Science Sorrow has a reputation among fans for its trippy visuals. Even their animation of Creepy Nuts title theme leaves a strong psychedelic effect as the opening song grooves with the art. However, Dandadan Episode 3 reigns in Science Sorrow from stylishly going overboard as it usually does. With most scenes taking place on temple grounds, the episode maintains a rustic feeling of old woodworking and earthen elements like trees and stones. The background art, as is the norm in the studio's other works, gives a strong personality to the anime. When Granny Seiko or Momo appear on screen with their shared loud fashion sense that stands out when put in front of traditional Japanese aesthetics, Dandadan's peaceful backdrops burst with a uniquely modern color and energy not seen in other anime, where most anime involving ghosts and curses would have taken a horrifying turn. Dandadan Episode 3 feels like a parody. Sure, the elusive Turbo Granny reaching out from beyond and holding Ocarin's and Seiko's lives hostage is every bit as ominous as it sounds. Yet the excitement of Momo and Ocarin preparing to take on a cursed spirit by themselves supersedes all the fear and dread the anime can conjure. Dandadan has not failed its audience so far, even when it only had 2 characters in the story. As the story builds up to its first arc's conclusion and slowly brings more characters into the fray, Dandadan Episode 3 gives hope of greater and wilder things to come. Dandadan Season 1, Episode 3 is now streaming on Crunchyroll.